Hello, true duelists. My name is Craig Fee, and as always, welcome to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Update. A ton of new cards this week, and plenty of pandering to 5Ds fans especially. Yes, that's right, not content for the Yu-Gi boomers or the Yu-Gi zoomers, but instead content for the Yu-Gi-lennials. Just taking a page right out of Digimon's playbook there and throwing Yu-Gi in front of every single term imaginable. Let's start strong. This past week saw the reveal of the new Morphtronic cards from the Duelist to the Pyroxene set. Starting with Morphtronic Telephone, the next in line of Phonetronics. In attack position, it can roll a die to special summon a Morphtronic from the graveyard with a level equal to or lower than the die roll results, and in defense position can roll a die to excavate cards from the deck equal to the roll and then send a Morphtronic from among those excavated cards to the graveyard. Okay, I guess, though still not as good as Cellphone. Gadget Gamer is both a fantastic name for a card, and when it's normal summoned can add a level 1 machine monster from deck to hand. And it can be tributed to summon a Morphtronic from your hand, and then you can also summon Gadget Hauler from your deck. Under no circumstances should you ever summon Gadget Hauler from anywhere or by any effect. But otherwise, a solid card. Earphone makes for potential new AirPod memes? Probably not, but it is a synchro that needs any tuner and number of non-tuners, and if summoned can target one monster on the field to treat it as a tuner. Otherwise, its effects are pretty negligible. It can target a monster on the field while itself is on the field or in the graveyard to equip it to it, and while it's an equipped spell, the equipped monster can make 2 attacks on monsters per battle phase. Riveting. There's also a new equipped spell, maybe a good choice for the Power Tool Void's Dragon. It can be equipped to an Earth Synchro monster only, and when battling an opponent's monster, the opponent's monster will lose 1500 attack during damage calculation. Also, if a monster's battle position is changed, it can target and pop a card on the field, and if it's sent to the grave from the Spell and Trap zone, you can tribute a Power Tool Synchro monster to special summon Life Stream Dragon from the extra deck, which is treated as a Synchro summon. An okay choice for the big boy, I suppose, but still, even with this, not a good reason to play Lifestream Dragon. Morphtronic Convert is a normal spell that targets a monster, and its effects will then depend on the targeted monster's battle position. An attack position monster means you can summon a Morphtronic from the deck with a different name from the targeted monster, and then put that first monster onto the bottom of the deck. And a defense position monster means you can change that monster to attack position, and then summon a level 4 or lower machine from your hand. Lone Fire with extra steps, or maybe just an Ash target that the opponent never fully reads. Why not both? Also from Pyroxene is Kelbeck the Ancient Vanguard. If a card is sent from the hand or deck to the opponent's graveyard, you can target a special summon monster the opponent controls and then summon this card from the hand and bounce the opponent's monster. And if it itself is sent from the hand or deck to the grave, it will mill the top 5 cards of both players' decks, and if you have Exchange of Spirit in your grave, you can then set a trap from your grave to your field. And another Ishizu card. What more is there to say? Speaking of the Ishizu cards, the V-Jump promos were also confirmed, and my god do I hate them. Cardon, the Great Sage, when normal summoned, can set a continuous trap from the hand or grave to the field, and that card can be activated during the turn it's set. And if it itself is sent to the grave, it can make all face-up traps on your field indestructible for the turn. You gotta love Floodgate support. Or do you maybe think that that card was underwhelming, not so great support for Floodgates? Don't worry about it, because we've got Pharaonic Advent, a level 8 with 2000 attack and defense. You can tribute a monster to special summon it, and it will gain 300 attack for each continuous trap on the field or in both players' graveyards. Oh, that, and you can tribute a fairy, fiend, or reptile monster to add any continuous trap from deck to hand, which will then lock you from special summoning for the rest of the turn. Just what the game needed. A way to search out skill drain. Gravekeeper's Engraving is a lingering floodgate for the turn, applying one of 3 effects until the end of the opponent's turn. Either neither player will be able to activate card effects in the graveyard, will not be able to banish cards from the graveyard, or will not be able to special summon monsters from the graveyard. A watered down Necro Valley, but still, kind of a Necro Valley. And then there's Apophis the Swamp Deity. Oh, I don't care. A continuous trap that summons itself as a normal monster that can then negate the effects of face-up cards the opponent controls up to the number of continuous traps you control until the end of the turn. I don't think that this will see much play in Eldritch in any serious capacity, but my god do I hate even just the idea of it. Next up is a batch of new cards from the Animation Chronicle, as sporadic as the anime is itself. Heroic Call lines up with the Dimension Force support, allowing you to summon a warrior from your hand or graveyard, but a non-heroic monster summoned will be unable to attack and have its effects negated. It also has an attack boosting effect by banishing itself from the graveyard, but I have deemed it to be bad and therefore don't care to explain it. Dream Shark is a new fish monster. It can special summon itself from the hand while you control no monsters, or the only monsters you control are water attribute, and is indestructible the first time it will be destroyed each turn. Also, when a card or effect is activated that would inflict damage while it's in the grave, you can summon it from the grave to take no damage, and then it loses 1,000 defense. Yes, that's right, folks. Finally, sharks at long last have a way to combat Trickstar Burn. Amazing. The Star Warrior monsters from Arc 5, I think, also got support / debuted. Skybolt Star can summon itself from the hand when an Earth monster is summoned to your field. Warrock support. It can also banish itself from the grave to target a monster on both fields. The opponent's monster is destroyed and yours will lose 1,500 attack. Perfect for Warrocks. Probably, I haven't read the cards. Earthbolt Star can summon itself from hand by sending a monster from your hand to the grave, and during the battle phase, you can pay 500 life points to fusion summon a warrior fusion monster using materials from your hand or field. Battle phase fusioning. Sounds exactly like what Warrock would want to do, probably Earth monsters. The new fusion is Breakbolt, needing a level 5 light warrior monster and 1 earth warrior monster as materials. It inflicts piercing damage when attacking, and if it battles a monster without a level, it inflicts double the battle damage. And during the end phase, if it's in your grave after being destroyed this turn, you can target 2 level 7 or lower warriors in your grave and special summon them. Big Punch monster, big irrelevant. It's a graveyard effect floating after destroyed during the end phase. It's exactly what we want from modern fusions. But Warrocks, think about it. Lastly, from the Animation Chronicle are the Bugs. Number 2 is a rank 2 Xyz that can't be destroyed by battle. You take no battle damage from battles involving it and must be attacked by the opponent if able. When a monster on the field declares an attack, you can detach a material to activate one of 2 effects. Either place a hallucination counter on an opponent's monster, which while that monster has a hallucination counter, its effects are negated, or you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack of a monster with a hallucination counter on it. Poopy stinky bad. There's also a normal spell that can summon 2 level 4 lower insects from your hand with the same level, and if you control the new Xyz, at rank 2 I just mentioned, you can banish it to place hallucination counters on monsters your opponent controls up to the number of insects you control. This might be a cute bee trooper tech. I will have to test it out. Probably isn't, but it would be funny with Scout Buggy, so there's that. There's also the 2 new cicadas. Dream Cicada is a level 3 that can summon itself from the hand while you control an attack position insect, and if normal or special summon, can change the battle position of one monster on the field. Yes, that's right, digital book support. Oily Cicada sounds awful, and when normal or special summon, can reduce the levels of all insects you control by 1. Also, if its battle position is changed, you can summon another Oily Cicada from your hand, deck, or grave. Wow, that's even more Digibug support. We've got support for all the underwhelming archetypes in this set. It's just a fantastic, fantastic set. I'm sure the Brothers of Legend 2 that it comes out in will have a only $125 Pot of Prosperity in it, which is fantastic news. But wait, there's more! 3 cards from the new Crystal Beast structure deck have been revealed. All spell and trap and not the monsters we're hoping for, the first of which is Crystal Protection, a normal spell that can destroy a Crystal Beast monster you control to summon a token with the same stats, level, type, attribute, attack, and defense. And if a Crystal Beast is placed into your spell and trap zone while this is in the grave, even during the damage step, you can banish this card to special summon 1 Crystal Beast from your spell and trap zone. Crystal Grace is a normal trap that can summon 2 Crystal Beasts from your spell and trap and then gain life points equal to their original attack, and it has a similar effect to the spell card, able to banish itself even during the damage step when a Crystal Beast is placed into the spell and trap zone, so that you can excavate the top card of your deck, and if it's a Crystal Beast monster, you can either add it to your hand or special summon it, otherwise it goes to the grave. A Crystal Miracle is what is needed for this deck to be playable, and it's also the name of the new counter trap. This can negate any spell or trap card or monster effect by destroying a Crystal Beast card you control, and can be banished from the grave when a Crystal Beast is placed into your spell and trap zone, even during the damage step, to take a Crystal Beast from your hand, deck, or graveyard and place it into the spell and trap zone. All of this is not great and not terrible. Now please give us a main deck monster worth playable. It is not 2007 anymore. There is no feasible way for me to fit Emerald Tortoise into any deck. And lastly, for new card news and even more nostalgia, an old favorite of mine, Blackwing, has received more support. Hell yeah, brother. Never-ending support. The Dark Magician and Blue Eyes of 5Ds all in one. Let's see it. These are all coming out in the newest set, after Power of the Elements, Darkening Blast, and these are the first cards revealed. Starting with Black Winged Assault Dragon. Is this a playable Black Winged Dragon? We'll find out. A level 10, needing a tuner synchro and 1 or more non-tuners, it can either be summoned using standard means or by banishing a tuner synchro and a Black Winged Dragon from your field or graveyard. Each time a monster effect is activated by the opponent, they'll take 700 damage, and this card will gain a black feather counter, which is fantastic, more feather counters. But it's more okay than the last one, because this card you can quick effect tribute during the opponent's turn, as long as it has 4 or more counters on it, to destroy all cards on the field. It is better than the original at least, although that's really not saying much, but hey. Boreas. Sure. Boreas the Evil Wind is a level 6 Synchro Tuner, needing a Dark Tuner monster and 1 or more non-tuners, that if Synchro Summoned can Foolish Burial a Blackwing monster to the grave to make its level become the sent monster's level. Also, when it destroys a monster by battle, you can banish a Blackwing from your graveyard to summon the destroyed monster to your side of the field. Yes, that's right, in 2022, Konami decided to give Blackwing a worse Goyo Guardian. That's Konami for you. Vada the Knave is a level 2 tuner that once per turn can be summoned from hand if you control a Blackwing not named Vada the Knave, and during the main phase can send itself from the field and 1 or more non-tuner Blackwings from the deck to the grave, whose total levels equal exactly 8, to special summon Black Winged Dragon from the extra deck, but doing so will lock you into dark monsters for the rest of the turn. Shamal the Sandstorm is a card that everyone says looks like Simo, and can send itself from hand or field to the graveyard to activate a new Black Whirlwind spell card from the deck. And if a Blackwing Synchro monster and or Black Winged Dragon is special summoned to the field, while Simo here is in the grave, you can banish this card from the grave to add a Blackwing monster from grave to hand, but doing so means you take 700 damage. What a shock, Simo's not that bad. Chinook the Snow Strike can be sent from hand or field to the grave to target a monster the opponent controls, then send a Blackwing Synchro or Blackwinged Dragon from the extra deck to the grave to make the opponent's monsters lose 700 attack and then negate its effects. That is a quick effect if you control a Dark Synchro monster, and most notably is an in-archetype Veiler. Not that bad. Suthri the Illusionary Spark has 2 effects. When normal summoned, it adds any card that lists Black Winged Dragon from deck to hand, including that new Veiler. And you can tribute a monster to special summon a token that is a level 2 tuner, but doing so will lock you into only synchro summoning from the extra deck for the turn. Zonda, the Timely Knight, is the coolest looking one by far, and because of that, before reading its effects, I already know that it's bad. While in the field, it locks you into only synchro summoning from the extra deck, and if normal or special summoned, it can bounce 1 monster on the opponent's side of the field back to the hand. Also in the graveyard, it can be banished to summon a level 5 or higher Blackwing from your hand or deck, and then take damage equal to its attack. Yeah, this card sucks, but man, does it look... It's red. That's a good color on a bird. Cardinals are cool, so is he. That's a fact. Black Feather Whirlwind is a new black whirlwind of sorts. However, Konami lamely gave this one a once per turn because they are cowards. If you summon a Dark Synchro monster from the extra deck, you can target and summon one Blackwing or Black-Winged Dragon from your graveyard, and once per turn, if a dark monster you control will be destroyed, you can remove one Black Feather counter from the field instead. I mean, it's not Black Whirlwind, but it's... I'm probably not going to play it. Twin Shadow is a new trap that can be played from the hand if you control 2 or more Blackwing monsters. It allows you to return 2 Blackwing monsters from your grave and or banished pile to the deck or extra deck, 1 tuner and 1 non-tuner. And then you can summon a Blackwing monster or Blackwing Dragon from the extra deck with their combined levels, and this is treated as a synchro summon. That's not bad at all. And lastly, for the new cards this week, Black Shadow Squall, a new counter trap. When a spell or trap is activated, you can remove a Black Feather counter from your field to negate and destroy that card, and it can set itself from the graveyard onto the field if you control Blackwing Dragon, but it's banished when it leaves the field. That's a lot of new cards for the archetype, so how good do they seem? Well, it isn't in-archetype Veiler. They can now synchro summon from the deck, although only into Blackwing Dragon, and the trap does allow you to recycle your banished Blackwings off Simoon or anything else. I think if nothing else, it's a promising few new cards for the deck, something I can't wait to toy around with. It's just a shame that the Dragon needs a Synchro Tuner for an effect that has to compete with Full Armor Master that doesn't. But I won't complain about like 10 new cards, so I'm excited. For not new cards news, we do have the 5 Starlight rares confirmed for Dimension Force now. The Pendulum Fusion will now make for a very strong flex with Super Poly to break Pendulum boards. Alba Latinus, I refuse to even try to learn to say properly, will now make max rarity Albaz decks even more costly, and with the Exorcister inflation at all-time highs, it truly has now peaked, with Magnifica being the last Starlight. Master Duel had big news past week, with Sword Soul in DPE hitting the game and thereby changing up the meta last week, and just in time for the Fusion Festival going on this week. From the 12th of May to the 23rd, you can earn yourself an instant Fusion mate, a fancy new title, 2,300 gems, some tickets, and the realization that this is the 3rd event now where True Draco is the best deck to play. You really gotta love Floodgates. In community news, another week, another episode of Progression. This week was Dark Beginning 1, another reprint set. Simo spun himself a Snatch Steal off his wheel, banned Change of Heart from last week's wheel, and became the single most based player in Progression series history, playing Ben K Beatdown while Gage went back to Chaos. Simo earned himself a 2-1 victory, ultimately beating Gage down with a 4,500 attack Berserk Gorilla and inspiring this image. Nothing short of amazing. The score is now 7-9 in favor of Gage, with Simo steadily catching up. It seems that the age of Gage may be coming to an end. Does that really surprise anyone? On Twitter this past week, you could see, and you will continue to see, all your favorite content creators and just players in general losing their mind as we await the ban list. When will it come out? What will be hit? Nobody will know for sure, except for me, who I'm gonna bravely, I alone, will predict that Verte will be banned. No one else could be so brave and intelligent to guess this hit. Could it be because DPE is being abused in every single deck imaginable? No, it's because I bought 2 copies of Verte and Konami personally hates my wallet. Also this week, it seems that a longtime community meme may be coming to an end, with Twitter's announcement that it will be limiting visibility for accounts or even outright banning ones who post copy-pasta style tweets. This would include the likes of Payne's tweets, the day X of waiting for pyro support. Will Payne adapt the meme to be less spammy, or let it die out by the hand of Twitter? Or maybe Konami will actually print good pyro support. Who knows? Only one thing is for certain, and that is that it's day 1112 of waiting for good pyro/volcanic support to arrive in the OCG/TCG. And lastly for this week, you can expect a few changes coming up to my channel in the coming weeks. Might be as simple as renaming a few series of mine, or changing thumbnails to a bit of a rework to the update, as I would like to have this channel truly grow, and I think I'm being held back by my Mostly lackluster thumbnails, I would hope, but we'll see what changes. Also, you can stay tuned. I've got 1 or 2 new videos additionally in the works that should be out in the next week or 2. You can let me know what you think of them just by either watching them or commenting or whatever. I don't know. It's a YouTube channel, baby. And so that wraps it up for this week's update. As always, I'm your host, Craig Fee, and make sure you subscribe to YGO Strats for next week's update and so that you too can become a true duelist.